What is up, my friends? Welcome back to your favorite Portals podcast, Tijuana to Vegas, episode 11. Now, just to recap, in the past 10 episodes, we've gone from Harbor City, California, the place of my birth, down to Tijuana, where I spent the majority of my adolescent years getting in trouble and crossing the border every day to go to school. As you can see in previous episodes, um, there's the body cast episode. Then I have a few episodes that you can check out too that I have a couple guests on there. I have Brenda Macias of Univision Television, Channel 41 San Antonio. I have Miguel Sanz from San Antonio also. And while I was out there, I had the pleasure of meeting Dave at Home Depot. There's a podcast with him. And there's also a podcast with my boy Carlos, I believe. I don't know. Either way, we're going to reconnect with all these people. I'm just trying to get the story back to Sin City, Tijuana to Vegas, so that we can be in the current date. So you guys already know, hit like, subscribe, follow on this page, YouTube, and you'll go ahead and be able to receive all the new content notifications from new music videos that I just dropped. I put out God's Child. You can find that on YouTube. I'll also be posting on my social medias, or you can find it on all streaming platforms under Portals, Portouls, Portals. And yes, it's spelled differently because the original name was already taken. The spelling was already taken. Anyway, so moving forward, I just got back to Sin City. I was out in San Antonio during the holiday season, visiting my sister, my family, friends, business, pleasure. I got to film a music video out there for God's Child, which I just mentioned is up now. And I also got a chance to do some more research on what I want to do for music in the future and where the music industry is going. Now, I've been seeing a lot of interviews of rock stars from the 70s, 60s, all talking about how the music industry would be today in the 2025s. I'm talking about people who were talking about our industry 60, 70 years ago, which is probably twice as older than anybody that's listening. So yeah, you guys, we weren't even born. But I was learning a lot from Prince and a lot from comedians too, because it seems like they have stand-up comedians and people in the entertainment industry. We have a lot of similar obstacles when it comes to getting management, bookings, and all that. And these are things that I used to do myself. I've been a successful artist since, I would say, 2014 is when I really started to succeed in my music and art. And I was playing out every weekend. At this time, I had my band, Kerfoot and Dow. But I'll get back to that later. Last I left the Tijuana to Vegas podcast, I was in Tijuana. And I was crossing the border every day. Um, this was after I was old enough to take the bus, and I didn't have to drive on the little camioncito every day to get picked up and dropped off. I felt a little bit more freedom because my mom had moved back to Mexico, to Tijuana, to Playas, where I was at, where I was living with my grandma, and I hadn't seen her in forever. And this is when I reconnected with my mom. It was about at the age of 15, I would say around 15, because I remember I was in high school and I was just a mess. in the sense that all teenagers are when you're that age. But my mom came back into my life, with her new husband, and she had moved down there, and she wanted me to move with her, so I moved in with her. But of course, as a rebellious teenager of a broken home divorce, it's difficult when you haven't grown up with your parents your whole life, and then you live with them at an older age. There's a lot of resentment sometimes, a lot of things that are unforgiven that need to be spoken. But when you're at the age of 15, you don't know, you don't understand what those traumas are, what those feelings are, what those emotions are of anxiety, fear, frustration, anxiety, anguish. It's a lot. So her and I used to fight a lot, and I remember this is when I really started derailing, and it wasn't because of my mother or because of bad education. It was me. I was a 15-year-old punk rocker on a mission of self-destruction, pretty much. So I had to, turn that around. I didn't. If I finished high school, you know, and then I moved to the States. But I'm missing a piece there. Let me rewind it a little bit. Before that, I had been hanging out with people in Mexico and Tijuana that are, dangerous to people here in the United States, or dangerous if you don't know them in general. And I, from my block that I grew up on in my grandma's, there was a bunch of cholos and like young young thugs. And, they used to kick it at the corner, and they used to pick on me and make fun of me all the time. And I got to the point, the age of wanting my own independence, not being happy at my grandma's. This is right before my mom came back into my life. So um, I decided, if you can't beat them, join them at that age. So yeah, so I got jumped, and as a kid, I was in Pele 13. It's Pele 13 for life. It's blood in, blood out. But these gang things don't, they don't really exist anymore. This West Coast, East Coast, the rappers, all that stuff. It's all a facade, man. If you want to believe in it, go ahead. I lived it when it was real. That's why I can tell you the difference between reality and what's a facade. Because I lived the real, and I lived through the facade. So I can easily tell you the difference between a fake ass gangster and somebody who's a true OG. Because the way that we work is that we're all about respect. And that's it. You respect me, I respect you. It's mutual and simple. Because yes, I have gone to jail several times. I'm not proud of it. It's not something I want to say on a podcast. But if I'm not vulnerable and I don't put it out there, other people won't be able to heal. And that's the reason why I do this podcast. And that's the reason why I do my docuseries. That's the reason why I put on my smile and I go into the booth and I rap. That's why I do everything that I do. Every day I pick up the guitar, acoustic guitar, making songs, I'm making electronic songs, I'm rapping, I'm writing, I'm doing poetry, I'm making my docuseries, I'm doing my podcast. I feel right now that I'm at my highest point right now to where I can connect with my higher self, from my being, my vessel, to my higher power, to my source. And I'm in complete alignment and balance with that. And I can tell you 100% that feels good, guys. That really does feel good. When you get a chance to be able to be still and not wait for the next words, You can start breathing a little bit more. All of a sudden you realize that you've been living too fast. Maybe you've been driving a little too fast. Maybe you've been rushing to work or rushing to get home or rushing to do this or rushing to do that. Homies, we're in America. I was born in the United States of America. I ain't rushing. And this is a message for all of my friends and my family and listeners out there. Don't rush. Take your time. There's plenty of time. If you're rushing, it's because you didn't wake up early enough. That's the only reason why. And if you're going to say that, oh, you didn't wake up early enough because you had to work late last night, who gives a fuck? Stay up all night and then work and then go to sleep. I'm tired of hearing people's excuses. I got tired of hearing my own excuses because all I had were excuses for myself. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I don't like that. Nah, it's cool. I'm going to stay here. Nah, whatever. No, 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 no. I became a no person, dude. Becoming a no person is like one of the worst things you can become. You just close your life off. And you start living in that box life that I've been talking about this whole time. We live in it's called box life. That's why the episode is called box life. Because literally we live in boxes. Inside these boxes, there are smaller boxes called rooms. Inside of those rooms, there's smaller boxes called bathrooms. And then we live in this little box that has air conditioning or heating or whatnot. And then we go outside into our other little moving box, our little toasters that take us to fucking another giant building box, a box that's bigger than the one you live in. It has a bunch of boxes inside it and levels and fucking, it's out of control. And then you're stuck in that box, and if you're lucky enough, you might have a corner box. But if not, you're stuck in a cubicle box. That's why they're cubicles. Cubes are boxes. It's like an ice cube. But if you're lucky enough, you might get that corner cube, the one that's iced out with the fucking view of the downtown area. That's the boss one. That's the one you want if you're going to be in that area, in that part of reality. Because it exists, the corporate world is very strong. Industrialism it's American. I mean, we industrialize the fuck out of everything. We're wasteoids. And I learned that from Carlos when he came back from college fucking, I don't know, decades ago. And it always stuck in my head. You know what? We are wasteoids. Every day we're just creating more trash, throwing it in the dumpster, and then having them take it out. Have you guys seen these trash fills? And just because it's a podcast, I'm not going to show you an image of a trash fill, but you have Google. Don't you care about the earth that you live on? Don't you care about the air that you breathe, the water that you drink, about future generations? Maybe you don't have kids like me, but you must have a niece or a nephew, or a best friend that has kids. So yeah, it's up to you and me, buddies. We are the ones that are the generational gap. We are the ones that need to put that bridge in place for future generations. And it already is. The bridges of generations to come are already built. But we need to fortify them because there's people that aren't born yet that are going to be the fortifiers, fortification, I don't even know if that's a word, of those bridges. They're all spiritual bridges that have been built through His holiness. And we come to this earth, and it's just imagine each person has one little thing to do for that bridge. Say, my job is just to hold this one hammer. And say my best friend's job is just to hold the nail in place. And our only job is to put in that one, is to hit that nail right on the head, perfectly, and get it in on the first shot. So our nails aren't all crooked and bent. And so the bridge that we're building is firme, homies. No tsunami, no anything, no nothing will take it down because it's a spiritual bridge. Es el puente espiritual. And I've been building this bridge for decades. Decades. The people before me have been doing it for dynasties. Dynasties. Tao dynasty. Maybe it's just Freudian, or maybe it's just me being stupid. That happens a lot. Um, but yeah, there is a Tao dynasty. It's spelled differently, by one letter. Tao dynasty, isn't that crazy? I started noticing my last name, D-A-U. I was like, what a weird last name, Tao. And then I started seeing it everywhere. My last name, Dow, D-A-U, super weird. But A-U is not that weird. D-A is not that weird. And D-U is like, duh. So, but I started seeing D-A-U. You know what I saw it in first? I saw it in Audi. In the car Audi. Audi literally is my last name. Without the I. I'm I-Dow. D-A-U. I-Dow. Audi. It's the same. It's literally the same letters. So Dow is in Audi, Dow is in Dubai. I'm like, whoa, am I getting all the riches here? Shit, my name must be Richard. But so yeah, my mom moved back down to Tijuana. And at that time, I had been uh, initiated into a local Tijuana gang called Pele 13, Puro Loco. And that was my only way to find protection. And I get my ass beat every day by other kids from other gangs because back then it used to be like that. I used to hang out with taggers. Taggers are graffiti artists. And back in the day, we used to actually play the tagging game, was actually what taggers are. You tag and then somebody goes and they tag you out and they tag their name. Then you tag them out and they tag your name. And that's how it works. That's what tagging is. It's just like playing a game of tag, but you use spray paint, and there are rules to graffiti and tagging and all that people now they're just young, they're disrespectful, they're stupid, they don't know how to tag, they don't know where to tag, where it's okay and where it's not okay, because for everything there's always an unspoken rule. There's always an unspoken rule. There's always a line you are not to cross. Even in the unspoken, even in the unread, even in the undead. There's always laws of this universe that will control us, that will keep us going in the direction that we need to. And that's just the way it is. It's like gravity. What goes up must come what? Down, down. So some people might say I have Down syndrome. I've heard them all, guys. My name's Dana. Okay, my first name is Dana. My name is Dana Christopher Dow. Dana. That's the gayest name ever. You know, call me trans. I don't care. I'm all about my communities. I represent all communities. How about that? Except any white supremacist Nazi piece of shits. I'll scalp you, bitch, in Glorious Bastard style. Brad Pitt style. I'll do some fucking Betty Flies, dude, and I'll fucking scalp you, homie. If there's any Nazis, any fucking wannabe neo-Nazis, any skinhead Nazis, anything that's Nazi, any type of white supremacy in the city of Las Vegas that I'm here, dude, you have a big fucking problem, let me tell you that. I'll go put my Dr. Martens on right now, dude, and I will fucking make your chin look like waffles, bitch. Fuck you. This is the United States of America. We don't oppress anybody. Everybody's welcome properly. And I don't even want to get worked up on immigration. I'm an immigration paralegal. I worked for an immigration lawyer for 6 years. I have education. I just choose not to show it. The reason is, first of all, it's none of your business, but I'll give you my reason. Um, Knowledge is power. Just stick to your cliches. Knowledge is power, right? Well, just people who are evil, they want this power to do evil things. I'm not an evil person, but I have power because I have knowledge. And I will continue to grow my knowledge every single day as long as God allows me, the universe, source, highness, whatever you want to call it, allows me to get up every day, allows me to be able to breathe, smell the roses, eat, talk, walk, go to work online, exercise, have conversations, be able to record this podcast. I'm grateful to my dying day. That didn't come from evil. That came from good. Evil's what tries to take you off your path. You know what it is. Anytime you go against your gut instinct, that is evil. Don't do it. Because every time you've gone against I don't even know you. You don't even know me, but I can tell you one thing for sure, and I guarantee it, and I want to see it in the comments if it's not true. Tell me one time that you've ever gone against your gut and it turned out okay. Leave that in the comments. I would love to listen to the story, or have you on my podcast so we can talk, we can record, we can make this podcast more, because I want this to be more interactive. I want to hear from you guys. Leave comments, talk shit, tell me what you think. Right now I have you in Tijuana. I'm part of Pele 13. I finally have my protection from the rowdy kids in the neighborhood, and I'm going to high school. I'm in high school. Still crossing the border every day, hanging out with the kids at the corner. They were taggers. I was the lookout. I was the youngest. I've always been the youngest, hanging out with the older people. And I've always felt like an old soul. But I think the most important thing to take away, or take, or give, is your opinion and what you feel and what you love and what you don't. Because people don't value that anymore. People don't take time to listen to you, because time is valuable. You must be a person of much value for someone to take the time to listen to your podcast, or to listen to your music, or watch your docuseries. And the reason that I do it is because I love it. I don't care if anybody ever listens to this. It makes me feel good. It allows me to speak to God or universe or whatever, put my intentions out. I know it's being recorded. It's being recorded in the universe. I'm also saying it in front of God and everybody else. So at the same time, it's like a fourth and fifth. It's healing me to be able to go through my life again. I've already done this through a fourth and fifth, but now I'm doing it through a podcast. Through a podcast that I might be leading at the moment, but I want to have guests. I want it to be interactive. And I've had some guests. Like I've said, I've had 3 or 4 guests on the podcast in the first 10 episodes. But if you haven't, I would like to invite you to subscribe, like, comment, hate, put in your 2 cents or 1 cent or whatever you got, my nigga, because I want to hear from you. This podcast is Tijuana to Vegas. Now we're in TJ. You guys already know I got initiated. Now I have my protection. now is when I started to grow into this part of my life that I didn't like very much. I'm just gonna go through it now. I'm gonna recap it real quick because there's too many details to get it in a 1,000-hour podcast. We're talking about my life details. It's too much to put in minutes, but I'll try my best. Between the ages of 15 and 19, I was hanging out with my best friend Carlos, but then he met his first wife, and um, they were together, and they had a kid and whatnot, and I just started kind of hanging out with the boys in the hood and just doing our thing, which was everything, just getting drunk, smoking weed. I live by the beach, so all we would do is go to the beach and drink beer, and go on bike rides, go tagging, fun shit, kid shit. So, and a lot of these people that live in Tijuana are narcotraficantes. I will not mention any names. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to get myself shot or killed. If I haven't already, why would I now? But I grew up with a lot of families of the kids of these people that are in control of everything, even the drugs in the United States, guys. Sorry to tell you, man. It's all coming from Mexico. And the United States knows, and they allow it. And they say they don't, but they do. But that's for you to comment whether you think so or not. So that's my opinion because I've seen it firsthand. But anyway, I can't talk too much about that for legal matters. Um, Continuing forward, anyway, I went to a school with a bunch of kids that their parents were all into that type of business. Let's keep it at that. So luckily, I had a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of families that would protect me because I was their friends' kids. That's how it is. You know what I mean? Like, as parents, do you not protect your friends' kids when they're around? Of course you do. They're your responsibility. So just think of Playas de Tijuana like one giant family where I come from. Don't fuck with us. Now, I'm a very peaceful person. I'm going to go ahead and just jump forward because I've already given you all the details you need to know about Tijuana. If you never heard about Tijuana, or listen to my podcast or Google it, and Google narcotraficantes and Google cholos de Tijuana, whatever you want. Google, gaga. I don't care. Now, I got in trouble down there, and this is a big confession for me, even though people already know it's on my record and all this stuff. But while I was in Tijuana at the age of 19, I got in trouble because I thought that I was unstoppable. I was some fucking Stevie Mac type character that could just do whatever you wanted, wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted, with zero repercussions. As we all know, rest in peace, Stevie Mac. I was telling you for the longest time, you are not able to do that, much less in the United States. I can do that in Tijuana. It's a third world country and I have protection. It's different. There is no law down there. And I was telling him for many years, I know I'm trying to protect you, bro. I come from a place that's very dangerous. And what you're doing is you're fucking up. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a white boy with blue eyes. All right, white boy with blue eyes. Now he's dead in the water. What can I tell you? I did my best. I tried my best. We all did. I did all kinds of interventions. And you know what, Stevie Mac? I hope that you rest in peace. I hope that your family's resting. I hope your mom's okay. Shout out to Brad McWithy, my boy. We've been in backstage, dude. Always trying to fight for your life. But accidents happen. So I'm over here hanging out. This is in 2007. Now I got you up to 2007. I was born in 1983. So I got you up to 2007. And 2007 is It's a milestone life event for me because I was 24 years old and I was already living in San Diego because, as I had mentioned, I got in trouble when I was 19 and had to go, you know, do some time in a place called El Pueblito. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Um, but after that, I learned my lesson at an early age. Trust me. That's why I thank God, even though I've had one of the most fucked up, harshest, bringing ups. I'm thankful to God that He allowed me to live through all that so I could be here to say it to you today. So, guys, just fucking stay in your lanes. All that gangster shit, knock it off, bro. You know what I mean? I see people here in my neighborhood that try to act gangster, try to call this, and I have to tell them to knock it off. Because my neighborhood is a peaceful place. I don't want to see none of that shit around here. My neighborhood, no drugs, no weapons, no gangsters, no none of that shit, dude. I'm the only one on this block right here, dude. That's how it is where I come from. You take care of your block, everybody takes care of their own block. And it's super simple. But here in the United States, since it's so wide and so free and there's Uber drivers, I don't give a fuck if you're parked outside of my house, dude, and you're an unknown vehicle, I'm gonna come up to you and knock on your fucking window and ask you who you are. I want to know who all my neighbors are. I want to know who all the cars are. Why? Because that's how I grew up. Smart. Now I can identify any motherfucker that walks through here. If they live here, if they haven't been here, if I've seen them, if I've never seen them, I can tell you all the cars, all the license plates from here. I can tell you all the listings of the building codes that are undercoded. I can tell you everything about this place because I live here. This is my home. Sin City, baby. So what's up? Dana Dow is here. He's never left. I was on a small hiatus because I had to get with my boy Red Ivy so we could figure out what we want to do. But we have it figured out. It's out. The Red Ivy album, Tijuana Savage, is out now on all platforms. Please, please support your homie. Buy the album. It's $5, dude. Or just listen to it for free and pass it on. Either way, it works for me. And I guess that brings us all the way to 2007, and that's where I'm gonna leave it because that's when my sister came and brought me to Vegas, and I'm gonna have that be on the next podcast. Will be that whole story from after I got out of jail, when I was 19 in Mexico, what I did after, what I had to do to escape Mexico, and how I got to where I am now. So once again, thank you all for listening to my podcast, Tijuana to Vegas. This is your boy Dana Dow, aka Red Ivy. I love you guys. Go ahead and hit that subscribe, that like, hit that love button. They don't have a love button yet? Anyway, I love all of you guys. I hope you guys have something fun to listen to, something interesting, fun, and different. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Signing off, your boy, the Double Dipper, Dana Dow, will always show you how. Tijuana to Vegas, episode 11. Peace.